Spain holds its breath. The palace gates stand open. A nation gathers for what feels like goodbye. But this isn't just another royal moment. It's the end of an era. And the beginning of a new one no one was ready for. Princess Leonor, the future Queen of Spain, stands before her people, poised, graceful, and heartbreakingly human. The world sees a princess in her final royal appearance before marriage. But behind the flawless smile, something deeper trembles: love, loss, and the weight of a crown she never chose but now must carry. From the moment she appeared on the palace balcony that morning, the air changed. Crowds stretched as far as the eye could see, waving Spanish flags, some crying openly. They weren't just watching their princess, they were watching their little girl grow up, leave, and become a queen in her own right. Leonor's farewell speech began softly. Her voice shook, not from fear, but from feeling. "Spain has raised me," she said. "Every village, every school, every child who believed in the future of this country, I carry you with me." A silence fell. Even the cameras seemed to hesitate, afraid to intrude on history. Her mother, Queen Letizia, watched from the royal box, her eyes glassy but proud. King Philippe's hand rested on his daughter's shoulder, a silent blessing from one monarch to the next. They knew this moment wasn't just ceremonial. It was personal. Leonor wasn't just leaving home. She was leaving behind the freedom of youth for the duty of destiny. In the crowd, people whispered prayers, others clutched portraits of her as a child, the same girl who once wore her school uniform to public events, smiling shyly beside her parents. Now she stood radiant, draped in white and gold, ready to walk into a life defined by duty and love. The cameras followed her every move. Each step down the marble staircase of the royal palace echoed with significance. Every gesture, every look carried meaning, from the final wave to the guards, to the faint smile she gave a little girl holding a bouquet of lilies. It wasn't staged. It was raw. It was real. Then came the most emotional moment, when the national anthem began. Leonor stood tall, chin lifted, tears gathering at the corners of her eyes. As the final notes faded, she whispered to her father, "I'll make Spain proud." The king nodded, unable to speak. Behind palace walls, preparations for her wedding continued. Foreign dignitaries were already arriving. Designers competed to create the perfect royal gown. But Leonor seemed distant from all the luxury. Friends close to the palace revealed she spent her last evening in Spain walking through the palace gardens alone, the same paths she played along as a child with her sister Sophia. Under the quiet glow of lanterns, she whispered goodbye to her past. The next morning, she visited the Royal Military Academy, the place that shaped her discipline and courage. Cadets stood at attention as their future queen inspected them one last time. One young soldier saluted her with trembling hands. Leonor paused, smiled, and said, "Serve Spain with honor. Always." Those words will be remembered for generations. Her farewell tour didn't end there. Leonor traveled across cities, from Madrid to Asturias, where her title, the Princess of Asturias, carries the deepest meaning. There, she met children who sang for her, waving flags painted with hearts. One girl asked, "Will you come back?" Leonor knelt, took her hand, and replied softly, "Always in spirit. Always in heart." The moment went viral within hours. Millions watched, and millions cried. Royal experts called it the most emotional royal farewell in modern Spain. But for Leonor, it was more than symbolism. It was closure, a chapter ending before she steps into the life of a queen and a wife. The palace has kept her fiancé's identity largely private, fueling endless speculation. Some say he is of noble descent from a European royal lineage. Others whisper of a love that defies protocol, someone Leonor met during her studies abroad, far from royal expectations. What's certain is that her choice has been supported quietly by her parents, though not without concern. Queen Letizia, ever protective, reportedly told close friends, "A crown is heavy. But a heart must still feel light." As wedding preparations accelerate, Spain is in awe of how poised Leonor remains. No scandals, no missteps. Just grace, dignity, and a deep sense of purpose. Even her critics, those who once doubted her readiness, now admit she has something rare, emotional intelligence born from pressure. In her final official appearance, Leonor entered the cathedral where she will one day be crowned queen. As the choir sang softly, she lit a candle at the altar, closing her eyes for a long moment. Insiders say she whispered a prayer for unity, for her family, her country, and the future she's about to lead. When she walked back down the aisle, the audience rose in silence, a gesture of respect rarely seen. Her steps were slow, deliberate, almost symbolic, walking away from childhood and toward the throne. Outside, the sky over Madrid turned golden. As she stepped into her car, the crowd erupted, "Viva Leonor!" Tears streamed down her face as she waved one last time. Millions watched that live broadcast, and for a moment, the whole nation seemed to breathe as one. Later that evening, a private farewell dinner was held inside the palace. Just family, a few close friends, and her fiancé. No cameras, no press, only candles, laughter, and the warmth of home. Witnesses described it as deeply emotional, a night of shared memories, quiet toasts, and promises for the future. King Felipe reportedly gave a short speech. He said, "A father watches his daughter leave, but a king welcomes his queen." The room fell silent. Leonor stood, embraced him, and whispered, "For Spain, for us." As the clock struck midnight, Leonor walked to her balcony once more, overlooking the city that raised her. The lights shimmered below, the wind gentle against her hair. For a long time, she stood there, saying goodbye, not to a country, but to a chapter of her life that would never return. When she finally turned away, she smiled, not with sadness, but with strength. Because she knew that from this moment on, she wouldn't just be a princess of Spain. She would be its future, its heart, its hope. And somewhere in that quiet night, Spain realized something profound. This wasn't a farewell, it was a promise. A promise that Princess Leonor, Spain's beloved daughter, would return not as the girl who left, but as the queen who leads. The world waits for her wedding. But for Spain, the real story has already begun, in the tears, the pride, and the unforgettable goodbye that will echo through generations. Princess Leonor's emotional farewell to Spain was not an ending. It was the beginning of royal history in motion.